What's going on, guys? You are listening to Week 21 of the Playbook with Joey and Zach on WZBC AM Sports Radio. This is the final week of the semester, which is hard to believe, but we really do appreciate every single one of you that took the time to listen to our show week in and week out. It means the world to me, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for listening in, calling in, texting me your thoughts after the show, during the show, before the show. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. And speaking for me and Zach, we really do appreciate it, so thank you guys so much. We couldn't have done this show without you. So truly, thank you guys for listening in. Thank you for listening on Spotify, YouTube, listening in live. It really does mean the world to us. To start the episode, I'm going to break down the last week or so in Boston sports by beginning with the Celtics-Bucks series, with Zach calling in, and move on to the Bruins and Hurricanes series. After that, I will touch upon Stellwagen softball very briefly. We had a tough game on Monday night. And then get into the Red Sox, who finally won a game last night. Big win for them. After that, I'll dive into the world of college baseball. I have a very special guest coming on at the end, who I'm very fortunate to be able to bring onto the show, and that's Rob DiLoreto, the head coach at Everett High for Everett High football. He's going to come on and talk about Northeastern baseball and how the offseason has gone for the Everett High football team. It truly is a pleasure being able to talk to him every single Northeastern baseball game. His son, Corey DiLoreto, I've talked about a ton on this show since I'm a big fan of him. Everyone, I'm sure, knows I'm a big fan of Northeastern baseball as well. Being able to have him come on and talk about Everett High football and Northeastern baseball truly is a pleasure, and he actually has a couple of kids that are committed to BC for football. So we'll bring him in, hear his input, see what he thinks of the upcoming season for Everett High football and what he thinks of the recruits that BC is bringing in. And then also talk about Northeastern baseball. They have a big series this coming weekend against UNCW, North Carolina Wilmington at home. Northeastern had a big win last night, actually, against UConn at UConn. UConn was number 8/number 13 in the country ranked. So Northeastern, again, that win is huge. So let's see. I'm going to call Zach right now, see if we can get him on. Talk about the Celtics. Celtics obviously got a big game tonight, starting right about now. Celtics going in. Now it's 2-2. Big Game 5 matchup. Game 3 obviously was a tough loss. The Celtics, they were right in it. They were right there. Game 4, Monday night, big win, 116-108, excuse me. Let's see if we can get Zach on. What's going on, Zach? How are we doing?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sorry about not being on the show tonight in person, but I started to get into some Celtics talk. They use that tomorrow morning, so you want to get into it, Celtics?
Yeah, so last time we were on the show, it was a 1-1 series, obviously. I had the Celtics winning in 7. My prediction is going to stay the same. I think this will keep going back and forth. Obviously, tonight's a big game, but I see they're still going in 7. You had them in 6, right, or 5?
Yeah, I had them originally in 6, then went back to 5, but I'm keeping it in 6. I think the way we look right now, even without Rob Williams, that was an unreal win on Monday night 2 nights ago. Everyone played great. Obviously, Horford stepped up big time. I don't really expect to see that kind of performance again. But it was a really slow start again from guys like Tatum. I thought we were down something like 8 points at the end of the first. Slow start. But that being said, I mean, we still pulled out an unbelievable second half, unbelievable fourth quarter. I think it's just a huge confidence booster for the team, and I just don't think the Bucks have enough scorers when it comes to the late game situations. I mean, you saw the way we made that run at the end of the game. It's really just Giannis that can create his own shots in that team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Game 3, obviously we lost by 2 points. It's impressive to only lose by 2, and Tatum went 4 of 19 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. He only had 10 points, obviously 3 assists and a rebound. Horford actually had a really good Game 3. He almost hit the game-tying layup, the buzzer beater. He almost had it. It was on his hand still, but it was very close. Oh, he has been. He finished that game with 22 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. And then obviously the Celtics had a couple controversial calls. Obviously, Marcus Smart was fouled shooting the 3. It could have been. They counted it on the floor. He got 2 shots out of it.
Yeah, I didn't mind that at all.
He perfectly executed it, though.
Yeah, perfect missed free throw at the end. I mean, we had 2 or 3 chances there at the end, too. So, I mean, can't be too upset about it. The foul was very frustrating. I definitely thought that should have been 3 free throws.
Yeah, I mean, he executed very well off the miss, on that second free throw, and he got the rebound, obviously gave the Celtics a chance to win when, typically there's not much of a chance there. But controversial goaltending call, too, non-goaltending call, I should say, against Giannis.
Yeah, that Tatum floor, that was ridiculous, too. I mean, the ball was clearly going down. I thought Ime should have challenged that.
Yeah, it's interesting he didn't. I guess he just believed on the floor it was going to stay the call. I mean, Giannis typically will get the call anyways, especially since he had a really good game that game. Yeah.
Fouls on him, no calls against him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
he gets his way.
He'll get his call, especially since he had 42 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, was unstoppable driving to the basket. They're going to give him the call when he did, kind of like they'd give LeBron the call. So that's probably why Ime didn't challenge it at the end of the day.
And yeah, there's really no one that can match up with him one-on-one. I mean, you got guys like Horford and Grant Williams who can give him a solid run and actually, get in his way of shots. But there's no way, there's no one in the league in general that can guard him one-on-one for every possession.
Yeah.
But how about Horford, though? Keeping it in last game, then Giannis dunked on him. Horford got pissed off, came back. Next quarter, comes back, dunks on Giannis and won. That was awesome. That fired me up. Horford was streaming, got attacked, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fire they need. The Celtics needed that. Obviously, Horford had the playoff game of his life. It took him 131 playoff games to score 30 points in a single game. He did it, obviously, on Monday night, 11 of 14 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, which was huge, 8 rebounds, 30 points. That's kind of what the Celtics needed off the off a tough, series. Off a tough, a tough game 3. Coming into game 4, the Celtics needed that fire. Obviously, Tatum recovered very well. Last game went 11-24. Yeah, 30 points, 11-24 from the field. Horford was much more efficient, though, 11 of 14, 5 of 7 from 3, 30 points for each of them, though. Celtics needed that. Big game 5 tonight.
I mean, again, though, Tatum had a pretty slow start, so...
Yeah, first half.
He can start hot and just, play his usual self, because it was really just the fourth quarter last game that he really turned it on. He had an unbelievable run, hitting that three-pointer, and I think it was Drew Holiday's face. Had that one crazy layup where he was falling to the floor, had another layup in crunch time. I mean, he really carried us in that little run we had at the end of the last 4 or 5 minutes. So it'd be nice if he can start hot, but, I mean, hey, we'll take his points when we can get them.
Definitely. I mean, I think the Celtics got to keep forcing Giannis to shoot threes. He was 1 of 6 from 3 in game 3.
Yeah, he's been horrendous.
You got to let him shoot threes. Him driving to the basket, though.
Behind 15 feet from the paint.
Yeah, he's really unstoppable to the paint, though. Can't really cover him there.
That's the biggest issue. I think we're starting to figure him out a little bit better defensively, though, in terms of rotations and doubling him at the right times, especially in the paint. We look like we understand how to play against the Bucks a lot better. Offensively, too, we're finding the right spots, getting good looks and shots. I think that was the biggest issue for us, especially game 1 coming from playing a team like the Nets that really has no defense and no depth.
Yeah,
I think that was a major adjustment. Going to play the Bucks, arguably behind the Celtics, the best defensive team in the league. Very big, very physical, and athletic, just like us. So
absolutely.
Much tougher matchup, but I think we're starting to figure it out.
No Rob Williams tonight again. Tough loss. Obviously, we won last game without him. Similar to the Bruins, no McAvoy. Still won a big game without him. Then McAvoy returned. The Bruins obviously had a tough one. So hopefully tonight, Celtics get another win without Rob. It's tough to get, winning.
It's huge, 2-3-2 or 2-3 is everything.
Yeah. I mean, the Celtics and the Bruins both won. McAvoy, without McAvoy, the Bruins won a game. McAvoy came back, then they lost. But losing Rob Williams another game, you'd always rather him out there than not have him. So it's tough not to have him again, but hopefully we can win without him.
Yeah, give us an extra big body that can really play and guard guys like Giannis, too, especially in the paint, get physical. I mean, it's really just Grant, Al, and Rob Williams. So now we're just down to Grant and Al, guys like, big guys that can actually play defense on Giannis and hang with him. So obviously it hurts a little bit. They just got to stay out of foul trouble, those two, Grant and Al, which they've done a solid job of so far this series. Grant obviously getting a couple calls going his way that I thought a couple were unfair. I think it was game 3. He might have finished with 5 fouls.
Yeah, physical.
Yeah, he does play extremely physical. I love his defense. I love his energy. He's been key. So I really hope to see him get the start nod again tonight. I think it worked out well last game in place of Rob Williams. And I think if it's not broke, why fix it?
Yeah.
Him and Horford in the paint are solid next to each other too. So
yeah, big game tonight. I think it's going 7. So no matter which way whoever were to win, I think the other team wins game 6, and then game 7 will be a big game, obviously. If it were to go to 7, Celtics obviously would be in Boston too. So that would be huge.
Yeah, that would be huge. Yeah, my prediction, I'm keeping Celtics in 6. I got them getting a close win tonight, but I think they're going to start a little bit hotter tonight and just kind of maintain a small lead and never look back. I got the win by about 10. And then game 6, and then it's going to be a nail-biter down to the wire, and then Celtics are just going to play like they had in the fourth quarter, the second half of the season, just make a little run, get the lead late in the game, and hang on and win by 4. So
all right.
It's going to be close either way next 2 games. But I got the Celtics winning the next 2 straight and going on to the ECF.
All right. I like it. All right. Anything else you want to add in? I like it.
I think nothing new. I mean, the Warriors still look great. They're my pick out of the West. Jordan Poole's been unbelievable. Curry, Klay Thompson, they're just unstoppable. I don't know if there's any team in the West that's a match for them.
Yeah.
And then Heat Sixers too. I really like the way the Sixers left in Game 3 and Game 4, but last night was just awful. Everyone seemed super sluggish out there. Said they didn't even want to win. Harden was off after having a good Game 4. Embiid did not play well. So I think it's going to be tough for them to rebound from that and come back and win the series. I originally said that Philly was going to win that series in 7, but now it's looking like the Heat being up 3-2, they're going to take it. Maybe a 6 if the Sixers keep playing like that. So we'll see what happens. Definitely looking forward to Celtics game tonight, though.
Yeah, big game. I'd say, as I said, I think it's going 7 games. I did have the Warriors originally winning the West, so I'll stay with them. I did have the Bucks Celtics. I mean, the Bucks and the Warriors were my original finals matchup. I think I had the Bucks in 6 or something like that, if I remember right. Obviously, I have the Celtics winning this series now, so that changes. But yeah, I think the Warriors still win the West. They're looking good. And then obviously, I like the Sixers all year. Actually, I'm a big Embiid guy, so I wouldn't mind seeing them recover after a tough game last night. But they played well in 3 and 4.
I'd rather watch a Philly-Boston Eastern Conference Finals. I think that'd be cool. Celtics versus Embiid again. Get James Harden in the mix now too. I think that'd be a fun series to watch.
Yeah, definitely. It would be obviously superstars going at it. So kind of like this series, superstars. Giannis, Tatum, obviously. So add Embiid in there would be interesting. But
yeah, Embiid and Harden, that'd be a good series. And I think the Celtics are better built to play a team like the Sixers too. They're very top heavy with guys like Embiid and Harden versus the Heat that have a solid rotation. They play really well together as a team. I think we're more built to beat teams that just start. I mean, we saw that in that series. Against a team that didn't have much depth. Philly doesn't really. Their depth doesn't worry me much either. Unlike teams like the Bucks and the Heat. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. Anything else?
That'll be a difference maker. I think that's it. I mean, yeah, big game tonight. Got the Celtics winning by 10. That's good. I can't wait.
All right. Hey, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. Best luck with the exam.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you. There you have it. So you got our predictions for the Celtics game. Obviously, the Celtics got a big game tonight, Game 5. 2-2 in the series. They recovered very well in Game 4, winning that by 8. Jason Tatum obviously recovered, played very well, and then obviously Al Horford was the biggest storyline, which we were just talking about. So hopefully he stays hot. I don't see him going for 30 again, but hopefully it's another 20-point game, contributes to a big win. That's what the Celtics need. So for the NBA awards, Ime Udoka finished 4th in the Coach of the Year voting. Monty Williams actually won it. Phoenix Suns head coach. Obviously, the Suns had a great year. They were favored to win the NBA Finals for most of the season since they really stayed hot the whole regular season and played really well. Tyronn Lue, everyone knows me in the Clippers, finished 6th. Should have finished higher in my opinion. Kawhi Leonard missed all 82 games. Norman Powell only played 5 games. Paul George missed 51 games. They somehow finished 42-40. Still impressive for a Clippers season without their 3 best players realistically. And Steve Ballmer, the Clippers owner, who I think, let me check right now, but I'm pretty sure he's the richest owner in the NBA by far. There's no other owner that even compares. So obviously he pays for a team that can, win a championship. And I think next year that could be the team. I mentioned it before. Sam Presti, the Oklahoma City Thunder GM, said before he thinks the Clippers can win not just one NBA title, but multiple. And obviously the Clippers, with the star power they have, and obviously the bench, the depth they have is the best in the NBA. I'm really looking forward to seeing how they play next year. Robert Covington re-signed 2-year deal, $24 million. That was a steal. I think they got everyone locked up now for next year except Zubats, Amir Coffey, and Nick Batum. Batum was just on the Clippers Instagram with Amir Coffey shooting threes or whatever, so I'd imagine both of them will re-sign to be back. So looking forward to seeing how the Clippers run it back next year. Excited to see how Tyronn Lue does as head coach next year with hopefully Kawhi Leonard and Paul George healthy for the whole season, but obviously that's a big question mark. But I'm looking forward to see how they play. Big fan how they play, their style of play, and proud of their season, 42-40 without their 3 best players. It's really impressive. Anyways, moving on, the Bruins, tough loss last night. They've really struggled on the road. At home, they're 2-0, +5 goal differential. But on the road, 0-3 now. They've allowed 5 goals in all 3 away games, which is just ridiculous. They have a -11 goal differential on the road in all 3 games in Raleigh, North Carolina. So obviously the Bruins got to recover very well. Now their backs against the wall. They're down 3-2 in the series. They have to recover strong. This will be a big game, obviously, tomorrow night at home. Going into it, what the Bruins have to execute better at is the power play. Obviously at home they've been great, 28.6%, which they'll be home tomorrow night, so that'll be huge. But just 9.1% power play percentage, scoring the power play on the road, which is awful. I mean, that they've got to be better than that. Obviously, they have the talent, the power to do that. They just haven't done that, obviously, on the road. But now, with it being home, I see the Bruins winning tomorrow night. They've actually killed 100% of the power plays. They have 100% penalty kill percentage at home right now in this series, which is nuts. And then 76.5% on the road. So obviously they have to recover well tomorrow night, actually execute on the power plays, and obviously do well at the penalty killing, which have been doing both. They've been great on the power play and the penalty kill at home. Hopefully they get that going again tomorrow night. Game 6, the Bruins need it. As I said, backs are against the wall. Giving up 5 goals in all 3 away games, that just can't happen. Swayman, played really well in, Game 4, stopping 24 of 26 shots. Brad Marchand was unreal, 2 goals, 3 assists. He had 5 points. Factor in Pasta, Bergy, Marchand. They're all psyched to be back together. That's the NHL's finest line. That's my sister and my 2 sisters and Mike Hurley used to call them the NHL's finest line, which they are. But that's the thing. Marchand, though, had an unreal game. 2 goals, 3 assists. That's huge. In Game 4, we need that again. Pasta had a goal and assist. Bergy had a goal and assist. DeBrusk had a goal and an assist. So that's 2 points with a goal and assist each for Pasta, Bergy, and DeBrusk. We need that again tomorrow night. Tough game last night, obviously. Clifton was the Bruins' lone goal in the 3rd period. At least it wasn't a shutout. Obviously, losing 5-1 is never great, but at least it wasn't a shutout. Could be a lot worse if you lose that game 5-0. I think just grabbing a goal at least is a little bit of momentum. At least knowing, going into the next game, everything went wrong, but at least, we got one on the board. Obviously, it's about winning and losing. Don't get me wrong, but at least they got a goal. I think a shutout speaks a lot worse than just scoring 1 goal would in that away game. Seth Jarvis killed the Bruins last night, had a deflection goal and a power play goal. Swayman stopped 33 of 37 shots he faced, did surrender 2 power play goals, so hopefully we don't put him in that position to allow 5-on-4 goals. That's what the Bruins can't let happen. In Game 4 and Game 3, the Bruins were elite at scoring on their own power plays. They even had a 5-on-3 at one point and scored actually 2 goals on that. I think it was in Game 4 off the top of my head. So the Bruins need to stay hot at home. Obviously tomorrow night, backs against the wall. I know the sports guru Mike Hurley, he'll be locked into the TV, hoping they can win that game for him. I've been watching a lot of the NHL playoff games, and a lot of the NBA series too. It's a lot of 2-2 series. The Washington Capitals obviously had a tough 3rd period, tough last 3 minutes of that game the other night. Game 4 it was. Washington lost in the last 3 minutes. They gave a goal to Florida to tie it, and then Florida scored in overtime. I know I talked before about my friend Ken, who's a big Washington Capitals fan. I did tell him I thought they could win a game or 2, steal a couple games from the Panthers when he had the Panthers sweeping the Capitals. The Capitals did obviously win Game 1, so there was no sweep allowed there. And going into tomorrow night, it was tonight actually, is Game 5. Big game tonight, so I'll be rooting for them, for him. Hopefully they can get a win for him. Anyways, moving on, Stellwagen softball. Tough loss on Monday night. The boys were missing Harry Braga because of the Celtics. Steve Abrams was out of the lineup and Matt out third baseman. So tough losing 3 starters, especially on a Monday night. It's tough to get a lot of momentum coming in off the weekend. Obviously, Kentucky Derby, a lot of the guys on the team had a big party for that. So they obviously had a big weekend. Tough game, Monday night. Tough to start the week with a tough loss to one of the worst teams in the league. 15-5, we lost. Tough game. But I'll say this, though. We were down 10-1 after the first 2 innings. What really killed us was the second inning. We gave up 8 runs. That obviously can't happen. But in the last 5 innings of the game, we were only trailing 6-4 in the last 5 innings. If you only count the 3rd inning to the 7th inning. So we did close the game a lot stronger than we started. Chris Mad Dog McKenna had a great offensive game. He had a single and a double. Hank, he's our second baseman, plays third base as well. Hank Master Flex played third base in that game, had a huge triple. Sean McKenna and I, Sean was the leadoff hitter. I was the number 2 hitter. Sean got on with a couple walks in the last 2 innings of the game. I had a couple singles in my last 2 at-bats, so we did finish the game hot in the top of the order there. We had a strong 5th inning where Dave McKenna, Davo, he's been hot at the plate all season. Davo, Sean, and I all start off the inning getting on base, so his bases loaded, nobody out. And obviously Chris Mad Dog McKenna had a big RBI hit. which this team needed, obviously. I did like that order, though, where Dave was 10, Sean was 1, I was 2, Chris Maddock, McKenna 3. I really like that lineup a lot. I think it worked. Big game tomorrow night for the boys. I believe it's a 6:30 game, and the Bruins will be on at 7, so obviously the boys will be hoping this game ends quickly for Stellwagen so they can go home and watch the Bruins. Hopefully the Bruins get a big win. Thursday night softball games are always great, though. Hopefully we recover. It's going to be a warm night tomorrow night. I don't think I'll be playing. I got a couple papers to write, unfortunately. I got an exam to do after this as well. So obviously got a busy week with finals. Tomorrow night will be 66, though, for a high, which is great. And Saturday and Sunday will be 84, 82. 80 on Monday. So the warm weather is coming. I think we're going to play a lot better in the warm weather when we can use the new bat. And obviously, if we get Steve, Matt, and Harry Braga back in the lineup, that'll be huge. So looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can recover well tomorrow night. So moving on, again, the Red Sox, 11-19 on the season. You never want to be 11-19, especially a team like the Red Sox that has more money than just about every team in the league. It spends more than every team except, the Dodgers and the Yankees. With 3-7 over our last 10 games. We did break up a 5-game losing streak last night, 9-4 win against the Braves in Atlanta. Huge. The Red Sox needed it. Alex Cora did shave his beard before the game. We did win, so maybe that's the luck we needed at the end of the day. Who knows? Obviously, got another big game tonight. Hopefully, we can get another win and make it a 2-game win streak. Obviously, 3 games need for a win streak, but hopefully we can keep adding on. 2 games behind Baltimore, actually, in the division for 4th in the division. We're 5th right now, unfortunately, but that's not a great start to the year. When Baltimore's only spent $45 million on their payroll and the Red Sox spent around $200 million, that's just ridiculous. If you're 2 games behind Baltimore, Baltimore's 13-17, the Red Sox 11-19. I'm a big fan of Baltimore, actually, because I really do like Cedric Mullins. He's a star. He's been hitting really well, actually, over the last few games. Speaking of players I love, Jazz Chisholm, he's been unreal. Second baseman, Miami Marlins, has the most swag in the MLB. I'm a big fan of him, big fan of the way he plays. Right now, he's first in OPS, slugging percentage, average, RBIs. Tied for second. This was last night. He had a home run today, so I don't know where he stands now. But before last night's game, he was first in OPS, slugging percentage, batting average, RBIs, and triples for the second base position. And also was tied for second in home runs last night. He's probably first now, I'd imagine. I'd imagine now he's first. He has to be. Maybe tied for first. But anyways, he's been great. So my 2 favorite players there, I just wanted to highlight how great Jazz Chisholm has been playing this year. He has 6 home runs. The Red Sox only have 17 as a team. We're 28th in the league right now in home runs. 29th in the league in stolen bases, only 4. We're not an aggressive team. And I've said before, stealing bases is a lost art. I'll get into more of stealing bases later on. We talk about Northeastern baseball in a few minutes, but they're the best team I've ever seen it playing small ball, and it works heavily to their advantage. I'll break it down a little of how it worked last night's victory over UConn. But anyways, the Red Sox made 28th in home runs and 29th in stolen bases. Stolen bases, obviously, I said, isn't a big thing in baseball anymore. Not many guys steal a lot of bases. But it definitely gives you an advantage if you can get a guy from first base to second base. You have a guy that can get you, a guy in scoring position. It definitely helps out, especially since we really only have Devers, Bogarts, and Martinez. Only 3 guys have been hitting so far this season. That's obviously been a struggle for the Red Sox. Is just besides those 3 guys, we really haven't got much going on offense. Trevor Story did have a big 2 RBI single last night. I think he finished the game with a couple hits. That's huge for him to get some confidence back. Right now, though, it's not even pitching. We're 10th in the league with our pitching staff striking out 273 opposing batters. Really impressive, especially considering, we haven't had Chris Sale, who's a strikeout king. Starting pitching hasn't been the problem over the last 2 weeks, really. Before Sunday's game against the White Sox, the Red Sox starting pitching surrendered 2 runs or less in 14 of their last 16 games and had a 1.89 ERA in those 16 games. But their record overall was 3-13. And that obviously has to do with the bullpen. This comes from Brian Barrett of WEEI, comes from a tweet of his. In that 16-game stretch I just mentioned, the Red Sox ERA for starting pitching was 4th in the MLB. They had the second best whip in starting pitching with .84 and a 190 opposing batting average, which is great. Then you look at the bullpen over that 16-game stretch, 8.65 ERA, which is 30th, dead last in the MLB, with a 1.73 whip, 30th, dead last again in the MLB, with a 284 opponent batting average and 4 blown saves, which once again, last in the MLB. I think the Red Sox have blown 7 or 8 saves this year, and it's only May 11th. That's ridiculous. Hopefully, if we were to get some health back, if you were to get Paxton back and Chris Sale back, maybe Whitlock can make his way back to the bullpen. I think he's a lot more valuable as a bullpen asset than he is a starting pitcher because of how much the Red Sox have struggled in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. Obviously, Matt Barnes doesn't have it right now. He hasn't really had it all season. That's the issue. And obviously, the Red Sox, after they paid him, he's been awful. They paid him that big contract right before the All-Star break last year, and I think he has a 6.5 ERA. Off the top of my head, I think it's a 6.5, 7.5 ERA, something ridiculous since he signed that contract. But that's the issue. It really hasn't been the starting pitching. It's been the bullpen. Obviously, offense has been a big issue as well. On Monday, before Monday's game, I think it was before Sunday's game, actually, the Red Sox were the only team in the MLB with 3 batters hitting over 290, and that was Devers, Bogaerts, and JD, obviously. Devers had a great game last night. Devers, obviously, is the marquee player on the Red Sox. Xander Bogaerts as well. Those are 2 guys right there you're going to need big offensive numbers out of. Obviously, the Red Sox have 2 big decisions to make about what they're going to do with those 2 guys. Hopefully, I'd like to keep both. If you have to pick one, I'm keeping Devers. He's hit .315 on the year. Was 2 of 4 last night with 4 RBIs, hit a home run, had a double. And his OPS is .854. Martinez is an .830 OPS, and Bogaerts is an .880 OPS. Both of those guys, Devers and Bogaerts, I would love to keep both. But it seems like, in my eyes, I think we're just going to keep Devers, and Bogaerts will be gone since we signed Story to that 6-year, $140 million contract. That offensive trio, though, JD, Bogaerts, and Devers, has not been the issue all year. They've been hot all year and playing really well. So hopefully the Red Sox wake up soon and get something going. Being 11-19 at this point in the season, especially being a team like the Red Sox, who had a great season last year, you can't start the season that cold. I think if this continues, I think Alex Cora, I might be the only Red Sox fan that says this, I think Alex Cora could be out of Boston by July if this were to continue. That's my prediction right now. It's just how I feel, but we'll see. Speaking of baseball, I want to talk about the LA Angels real quick. Last night, they had a no-hitter, actually, which, considering the fact that, the Angels, the past 5 years or so, obviously haven't made the playoffs, but their issue has been starting pitching. They haven't had that. Obviously, Syndergaard being a free agent signing, that was a huge signing for them. Ohtani staying healthy, that's huge. Mike Trout staying healthy, that's huge for the offense. But pitching has been the issue for them over the last 5 years. And last night, Reed Detmers threw a no-hitter for the Angels over the Rays, which is impressive considering, the Rays lineup. Juan Franco, he's elite. I've talked about him a ton on this show. Detmers, though, played great. I'll read you his final stat line. 9 innings, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. So 1 walk away from a perfect game. I think they had an error also, the Angels. So still, though, impressive, though. 3.77 ERA in the year. And I've obviously just showcased how great Syndergaard has pitched this year. He's been great. Trout last night was unreal. 3 of 4, 2 home runs. He's hit .337 on the year with a 1.183 OPS, 1100 OPS, which is nuts. That lineup's unreal, though. I'm a big fan of Trout, Ohtani, Rendon. Rendon hit a home run last night, lefty, his first at bat in the major leagues ever as a lefty. Hit a home run off Brett Phillips in, I believe it was the eighth inning. It was bottom of the 8th. Really impressed to see what the Angels have been doing this season. I know my brother Paul's a big Mike Trout guy. I love Ohtani. I like Trout. I love both of them. Very likable guys. Excited to see where they go towards the end of the season. Obviously, when the season keeps progressing, I hope they stay hot. So really quick before I get Rob DiLoreto on, Northeastern Baseball took 2 or 3 of Hofstra this past weekend. Corey DiLoreto, CAA Player of the Week, 4 or 5 he was in Game 1 against Hofstra. 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. He had a home run, 2 doubles, and a single. He was a triple away from the cycle, which is stellar. Northeastern really needed his bat back in the lineup. He missed, I believe it was 8 games, 7 or 8 games, I believe, maybe 9 games with a hand injury. But he's been stellar, as I said, in his return. He hit a towering home run in the first inning of Friday's game, followed it up with 2 RBI doubles to hit in Jeff Costello. Costello was great, actually, in Game 1 as well. He was 3 of 5 with an RBI double. Northeastern taking 2 or 3 from Hofstra was huge. And then last night, big game against UConn, number 8/13 in the country, the 13th in the NCAA rankings. They beat UConn last night 9-4. Northeastern did face UConn a couple weeks ago at home, had a tough loss. It was a very close game for most of it, and then UConn kind of just took away. pulled away. But last night, Northeastern won 9-4 over UConn. They've won 7 of their last 8 games, which is really impressive, especially since they haven't had Mike Sirota in those 8 games. Their 5th win this season over a ranked opponent. I've talked about it before, but they're very elite at using small ball to their advantage against bigger teams. They swept NC State 3 games when NC State was number 8 in the country earlier this season. Then they went to Clemson when Clemson, I believe, was number 15 in the country. And Clemson, I think, was 13-0. And Northeastern handed them their first loss of the season, which is awesome considering Northeastern, small school in the East Coast, being able to go down south and beat teams like Clemson and NC State. That's unreal, especially considering the ACC in baseball this year has been elite. Northeastern, though, yesterday beat UConn. UConn, as I said, was number 8 / number 13 in the country. That's now 5 wins, though, against ranked opponents, which is unreal. I'm really proud of how great this team has played this year, especially considering the fact they didn't have Corey DiLoreto with a tough injury. He made a great diving play, I believe it was against William & Mary off the top of my head, and hurt his hand about a month ago now, and then missed about 8 games or so. Northeastern, I think, was 3-5 without him. Now in his return, I believe they're like 7-1. They're around there, 7-1 in the last 8 games, and I think he came back around that time. So obviously his effect in the lineup has been huge. Yesterday, small ball, as I said, really worked Northeastern's advantage. Luke Mazik, who has a 7-game hit streak right now, he's been playing great. Singled in Danny Crossan with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning yesterday to give Northeastern an 8-4 lead. Then he steals second base. Next pitch, a single to left field by Justin Bosland for his 5th RBI of the game it was. Northeastern just plays perfect small ball. Mazik gets up with 2 outs, hits a guy in, gets on first base, steals second. The next pitch, Bosland hits him in. That's just what Northeastern baseball is all about, is small ball. Mike Levin has done great this year with really finding ways to get runs and get guys across home plate, whether it's bunting, sacrifice flies, stealing bases. They do it all, and I'm really proud of how this team has played. It's been a pleasure going to every game I can make. They do have 3 games this weekend. Hopefully I can make all 3, considering it's senior day on Sunday, actually, which is nuts. The season really flies by. Justin Bosland was unconscious yesterday in the game. He was kind of like Josh Naylor of the Cleveland Guardians, who I'm going to talk about really quick. The Cleveland Guardians were down 8-2 in the 9th inning to the White Sox a few nights ago. Naylor got up to the plate for the Guardians with bases loaded, 2 outs, down 8-4 in the top of the 9th. Hits a grand slam, game-tying grand slam with 2 outs. Then comes back in the 11th inning to hit a 3-run home run, powering a huge comeback. I think this article came from, but I was just looking at it to see how many RBIs he had. He had 8 RBIs, and that was, I think it's the most late inning RBIs. He had 8 RBIs after the 8th inning, which is nuts. I don't think anyone's ever had 8 RBIs after the 8th inning. He had a RBI double in the 8th inning, and then obviously, as I said, a grand slam, and then a home run, 3-run home run, which is nuts. So grand slam, 3-run home run, and the double, RBI double in the 8th inning. Really impressive how clutch he was for the White Sox in that game against the White Sox. Obviously, the Guardians ended up winning in the 11th inning after he hit that 3-run home run. They ended up shutting out the White Sox in that bottom half of the inning. The White Sox did blow an 8-2 lead. Obviously, they had bullpen with Liam Hendricks. They spent money on him, and he gave up he came in, I think when it was 8-4, and he gave up that grand slam. So Bosland is someone I wanted to compare to Naylor. He finished yesterday's game 3 of 4 with 5 RBIs, including a grand slam. That's why I want to compare him. Coming up in a tough spot, down 4-2. Similar to Naylor, the Guardians were down 8-4 in the top of the 9th with 2 outs. Yesterday, Bosland gets up to the plate. Northeastern down 4-2. I think it was 1 out, top of my head. Hits a grand slam, gives Northeastern a 6-4 lead. Northeastern never looked back after that. He finished the game with 5 RBIs, 3 of 4. He was unreal at the plate. Obviously, considering the fact Northeastern lineup is so good, he's the 9-hitter, and they get that much production out of their 9-hitter, which is great. He's been hot of late. Danny Crossan was 2 of 5 in the game with a pair of RBI singles. Northeastern stole 6 bases yesterday, which, as I said, small ball really is just lost. It's a lost art in the game of baseball now. That 4th inning, though, is what I want to highlight really quick, where Bosland hit that home run, the grand slam. That 4th inning started off with a big single by Corey DiLoreto. He stayed hot. Started the inning off with a single. Northeastern was down 4-0. and then just use small ball to their advantage. And then obviously Bosland getting up and hitting that grand slam was huge. Northeast ended up winning that game. Jordy Allard and Owen Langan pitched great out of the bullpen, closed out the last 5 innings of the game against UConn, only allowing one hit. I think it was only one base runner in the last 5 innings. So Northeastern was really a shutout team at the end of that game. After the 4th inning, they kind of just took off and never looked back. I'm excited to see how they do this weekend at home for senior weekend with UNCW as their opponent. Northeastern is now 9-9 on the year, and they've recovered very well from their midseason struggles. I hopefully will be able to see Mike Sirota play if he's back this weekend. Can only hope. It'd be a big addition back to this Northeastern lineup. I would love to have him. Anyways, let me see if I can get Coach on the phone now. It's a pleasure having him come on. As I said, Everett High football coach. He's the head coach there, so obviously he's seen a ton of talent over the years. He was an offensive assistant, so he's seen guys like Lewis Seen, who was a first-round pick in this draft, to the Minnesota Vikings. Isaiah Likely, 4th-round pick to the Baltimore Ravens. He's seen a ton of talent. It's a pleasure being able to talk to him at every single Northeastern baseball game. Really is a pleasure, as I said. The guy knows everything about sports. He's a guru. And being able to watch his son play, talk about how great a season Corey has had, truly is an honor. So thank you so much, Coach, for coming on. I'm going to give him a call right now. He's as best as they come. Hey, Coach, what's going on? How we doing?
Joey, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to get you on speakerphone. Hold on for a second.
No worries. Take your time, Coach.
Should this be just on audio or video? Just audio.
This is just audio, yes, sir. In that top part, that second button, there's that speaker thing right there. If you hit that, it should be there. Second button on the top of the screen. But take your time, no worries.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. I hear you. Perfect.
All right.
There you go, Coach. Thank you so much for coming on. It truly is a pleasure. I'm happy we're able to coordinate this and get you on. Obviously, it's something that we've talked about a ton over the last month or two. So thank you so much for coming on, taking the time.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Have a good night tonight.
Absolutely. Hey, Corey, your son, congratulations. Had a big weekend. CAA Player of the Week, congratulations. That's unreal. He's been playing great, huh?
Yeah, we're very proud of Corey. But before we talked about him, I wanted to see if we could chat a little bit about our Everett High School, Boston College football connection.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Super proud of the connection we have between BC and Everett High School, and wanted to chat with you a few minutes about that because seeing our athletes from Everett heading off to schools like Boston College to continue their education and chase their dreams in football makes me, our staff, and the entire city very proud.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You guys, as you said, you have a great pipeline to BC. Lukas Denis, Jason Maitre. You got the Zama brothers coming in. Both were commits. What's it like, though, being able to coach such a great high school football program? Especially, I mean, you had guys that went to Georgia, Lewis Seen, Mike Sanders from Michigan. What's it like coaching such a prestigious high school football program?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's quite an honor for me to be in charge of such a prestigious is a word that I think can be used to describe some of the successes of the past Everett High School football teams. And specifically, like you said, when we talk about athletes just specifically at Boston College, Lukas Denis, I did not have a chance to coach him, but I have had a chance to be part of a staff when Jason Maitre was a senior in Everett back in 2017 season. He graduated in 18 and got to know Jason very well back then, and fell in love with him almost immediately as a player, and I knew his work ethic and his talent was going to bring him tremendous success, both in the classroom and on the athletic fields and on the football field at BC. And to see Jason now starting in the defensive backfield and has aspirations, I'm sure, of getting drafted. Quite an honor. So proud of Jason. Love him. He's just such a great kid and making the entire city proud. And this fall, I had a chance to head over to Boston College with Ish Zamor and several other of our present senior football players who are graduating in a few weeks. And there was, I think it was like a recruiting night.
Yep,
and,
they have those.
It was against NC State, a Saturday night game, and we had some seats about 10 rows up behind the Boston College bench, and to see, Jason wave to us during the game, and he was out there playing on ESPN, chasing his dreams, and now to see a present senior at Everett, Ish Zamor, who'll be heading off to BC in the fall. I've coached Ish for 3 seasons, and he was one of our captains at Everett this year, and he'll be a scholarship player in the fall in Boston College, and he is just the epitome of leadership. And BC's getting a tremendous young man in Ish, and we know that he's going to make us and his family and himself very proud. And then the future for the connection of BC and Everett is very bright too. With we have a rising junior, Ish's younger brother Christian, who is a tremendous talent, and he is already committed to Boston College. So what a feather in the cap for the city of Everett and for our student athletes to see them achieving such great things, both in the class and on the football field.
Absolutely, yeah. As you said, Jason Maitre, I had the pleasure of talking to him a few weeks ago, and he said you were his dog. He said he loved you. So it shows there's a great football family there in Everett, which we've talked about before. There's a great family connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do pride ourselves on having an Everett football family. We are a football family. We're a family in Everett, and we stick together. And anybody who has played for Everett, whether it was last year, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years ago, it's a bond and it's a family, and we take that very seriously in the city of Everett. We take our football very seriously, and we know the shoes that we all have to fill are very, very big shoes, and but that challenges us. That challenges us as a family to be the very best that we can be. And I think that's a big motivating tool for our present players and our future players that, yeah, we have something that we need to uphold, and we're defending the honor of the E, and that has a lot of meaning to all of us in the program.
Absolutely. As I told you before, Everett High is the cream of the high school football crop. Truly great program. A lot of kids going to big schools, Michigan, obviously BC, like you mentioned, Lewis Cine, went to Georgia. So you just had a really good program, a good year, a class of 9 college commits it was, correct?
Sure. And the NFL draft, as you said, Lewis Cine was drafted in the first round to the Minnesota Vikings out of Georgia. He played in the national championship game. And he played in the semifinals. Georgia played Michigan in the semifinals, and Mikey Santasil, who is a junior out at Michigan now, he played wide receiver, and we had 2 former Everett football players battling it out on the football field against each other. Just something truly special. Now, Mikey's coming home. I spoke to Mikey the other day. He's coming home, and he's going to be running a one-day football clinic at Everett Stadium on May 22nd.
I saw that.
Sunday. He's calling it the Mikey Santasil Versatility Clinic, and he's coming home, and this is what family's all about. He has a weekend. He's got 1 weekend away from Michigan, and he's going to spend it giving back his time helping the youth of Everett and motivating the young kids in this city to continue chasing their dreams. And when I talked to Mikey the other day, I was most proud of the fact that they've moved him now to defense from offense.
DB.
Yeah, and it looks like he might be a two-way player, which is unheard of in college football at that level. And so he might be seeing reps on both sides of the ball. And and then on the second draft day, on that Saturday, we had a tight end who played in Everett in this same team. We had Lukas Denis, we had Mikey Sanderson, we had Jason Maitre, and Isaiah Likely were all on the state championship team that when I volunteered under legendary coach John DiBiaso. And that's four, like that is just four kids who all were on the field at Gillette playing for Everett High School. Isaiah got drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, I think, in the fourth
round. Yes, sir. Correct.
Yeah,
4th round.
And the Tuesday before the draft, so what was it? 3 days before he was drafted, 4 days before he was drafted.
Yep.
Where was Isaiah? He was right back at Everett High School.
So cool.
Us. I got a chance to give him a big hug. He saw some kids on the team. He visited some teachers. Again, just a humble young man who is headed for greatness. So, seeing the success of former Everett football players only motivates our present and future players to be the best they can be.
Absolutely. It sends a great message. I mean, Lukas Denis actually just signed his contract today. 4 years, just about $11 million with the Vikings. So it just shows you can go to Everett High, be a safety, be a cornerback, be a tight end, be any of them. Go on to a big school like Michigan, like Georgia, like BC, and then make the NFL. It's just a great message. And obviously, Massachusetts football, they don't get recruited enough as they should. And you guys are a staple in Massachusetts in recruiting, and you send kids to big schools. So what's that like, giving kids the chance to play college football after Everett High?
Yeah, so that's one of our goals as a coaching staff and as a school community. Working together, I work together with obviously the administration, from the superintendent down to the principal, through our athletic director, and all of the teachers. It's a community effort, especially through COVID, keeping kids on track academically, and keeping kids focused in the classroom, and then also giving our players the supports that they need and the tools that they need in order to succeed. That includes having, state-of-the-art equipment. That includes our weight room and supervision in the weight room. And it includes a dedicated group of Pop Warner coaches and teachers and family members and assistant coaches that work with me, that we all work together as a family 12 months a year.
Yeah, year-round.
In the recruiting process, because a big part of our goal in Everett is we focus on the importance of team. We focus on the importance of hard work and doing things the right way on and off the field. But we also support our players. We support our players having their own identities. We want them to have goals. We want them to chase their dreams. We want them to play for the E on the front of our jersey, but we also want them to play for their name as well. And so part of that is the recruiting process. And so that's year-round now. With social media and with technology, college coaches are constantly in touch with high school coaches and high school players across the state, I'm sure. And at our school, we work hard at that. Now, this year in particular, we know we have a player going to Boston College. We have a player going to be chasing his dreams at UMass Amherst. We have a player going to Bentley. We have a player going to Stonehill. We have a player going to Framingham State. We have a player going to Lake Erie College, Franklin Pierce, just to name a few.
Yeah.
We have a player going to Wilson Prep School. So we had 10 players this year from our graduating class who will be receiving some sort of grant or scholarship money, whether it be full scholarship down to a half or whatever it might be, to further their education and chase their dreams playing football. And when we had a signing day in February, I think it was, or January, I forget the day, but when we had that signing day, there was 9 players at that time who signed, and that was probably one of the proudest moments I've had as a coach, is to see 9 of our players signing their name to continue their education and chase their dreams at the collegiate level. And as a parent, as well as an athlete who plays college baseball, there's nothing better than as a parent to see your children chase their dreams. And honestly, I treat these kids in Everett like they're my sons. I love them like they're my sons. So I take special pride in seeing our kids do well in the classroom and chasing their dreams.
Absolutely. And Coach, that's a testament to how great a coach you are, how great a motivator you are, how great a recruiter you are. Congratulations, 9 college commits. As I just said, Massachusetts doesn't get enough looks as it should. Having 9 commits, that really is a testament to how great a coach you are, how great you coach them, how great you make them play, how great you make them work hard in the offseason. That's a testament how great of a coach, a person you are, truly. These kids believe, trust in the Everett system. It really speaks volumes to how great of a coach and person you are. So congratulations, Coach, on that. That's unreal.
Oh, I appreciate that, but trust me on this. I'm a small piece of the puzzle. The kids are doing the work. The assistant coaches that we have work tirelessly to support our players, and I try to just be the link that sort of binds the chain together, and just try to be a positive role model and mentor for the kids, and we just work hard every day. That's my goal every day, is to improve and to build relationships with our players and earn their trust, and do whatever I can to help them in the next step, whatever that may be. And sometimes the next step is just improving from day to day on the practice field, or preparing for a game, whatever it is. It's not all about playing in college. That's a big part of it. But there are more important things in life: education, values, effort. The life lessons that all athletes learn on the field of play are, quite special.
Absolutely. And as I said, it truly does speak volumes how great of a coach you are. And I'm sure these kids, I hope, I'll send you this link afterwards when it's up online. Send it to the kids, share it with the team. I'm sure they're going to love to hear it. As we just said, you can go to Everett High, get a good education, play football, and then get college education paid for if you get a full scholarship, have a chance to play in college football and a chance to play in the pros. I mean, there's nothing better than that. And it just speaks to how great of a coach you are. Obviously, next season, going to be a big year. This will be your second season as head coach, correct?
So it'll be my third season.
Third season, okay.
Yeah, I mean, in the fall was my first full season.
Because the COVID year, yeah.
The COVID season, anybody who played or coached or was part of that COVID shortened season knows that every player worked so hard every single day. That was a season. It was a very special season for us. And so so it'll be my third season, but the second full fall, and this was our first full year of off-season preparation. We're in, what I would consider right now sort of the end of like a phase 2 of 3 phases of preparation, and right now we are just working hard day to day in the weight room. We open our weight room up for our kids after school 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, and we encourage the kids who are not playing a spring sport to lift with us, and we also do study hall after school once a week.
There you go.
We're constantly around the kids, trying to motivate them to prepare. And the beauty of football, unlike most other sports, kids nowadays coming up, we'll talk baseball in a minute. A lot of kids will play baseball all year round, basketball all year round. Well, football's one season. It's from August until Thanksgiving, and if you're lucky enough, you get to play the next week. And that's the beauty of football, is it has its limits to it. And the preparation for football is hard. It's weightlifting, it's grinding. But we encourage our kids to play other sports. We want them to be coached by other coaches at the high school, and we want them to compete in other sports and do some weight training and lifting. And so you don't see kids really getting burnt out in football, because they only play 10 or 11 or 12 games a season, as opposed to a college baseball season is 50 games. So
a lot of games.
It's a grind. And so that's one of the beauties of football is we know that in the off season, if a kid wants to get better, he or she knows or they know that they have to really work hard on their strength and conditioning and take personal pride in getting in the best physical shape possible for the grind of a season because football's hard.
Absolutely. And we talked about it before when I played Pop Warner, second, third quarter games, people would be gassed and out of breath. We've talked about before, me and you, how much you guys run at Everett, how much they're in the weight room. That's really important to have the conditioning. It is. It's a big part of the game is being able to keep up third and fourth quarter when, the game's in the line. You got to make a play. You got to get a sack. You got to make a big play offensively. That's really important to have that conditioning. And clearly you guys' off-season workouts, it works. It works,
Yeah, thank you. Our kids, they work hard in the off season, and right now the culture in our program is very positive, and we are encouraging our players to encourage everyone in our program to come every day. We talk sometimes in high school sports about voluntary workouts versus mandatory workouts, so on and so forth. Well, the truth be told, every day that any player plays a sport, that's voluntary. Nobody is forcing anybody to come to practice. Nobody's forcing anybody to play a sport. It's volunteer every day, and that's what we ask our kids to do. We don't want them to be just compliant. We don't want them to just show up and do what they're told. We want them to come, and we want them to give every ounce of energy that they have for 2.5 hours a day and push the envelope, make themselves better, and strive for excellence, right? Strive for perfection, but strive for excellence. And that starts with getting up in the morning, getting to school on time, going to all their classes, trying their best in the classroom, and getting on the football field with us and working hard every single day. Like, that's one of the things that we try to pride ourselves on is effort, is giving our best effort all the time. And when you do that, at the end of the day, the wins and losses, the wins sort of fall in place when you have a group of kids who collectively set goals and set high standards for themselves and work tirelessly to achieve those goals.
Absolutely. And you guys do better than any other school with that. You keep the kids in the classroom. Obviously, education is a big part of, getting to college football. You got to have the grades. And you obviously with the study hall and the off season, during the season, that motivates the kids to get their work done. And as I said, it's a testament to how great a coach, how great a program you guys have over there in Everett. And you should be proud of that. That really is a success story in its own, getting kids from Massachusetts into college programs. It speaks to how great of a program you guys have.
We're very proud of it, and we know that there is no one person that's responsible for it. It starts with the kids and their families, players, their families, the teachers, and our coaches and our administration. It's a team effort. It really is a collective team effort, and we're super proud of it, and we're going to hope that we continue it.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's a year-round job for you. So even when you're at Northeastern's baseball games in North Carolina, when they're playing NC State, you're still preparing, making sure the guys are in, in the weight room after school. I'm sure you're the offensive coordinator too. You call plays. So that's a big job in its own. You have a year-round job just trying to figure out a playbook. That's a lot.
Yes. Anyone who coaches high school athletics now is committed to their coaching 12 months a year. That's just part of the job, and we embrace it as coaches. We are always up for the challenge as coaches, and personally, I don't really consider it work because I love the practices. I love the preparation. I love that, and making connections with players in the city that I grew up in is very, very special. So yeah, it's all good right now, and let's hope that the positives keep on rolling.
Absolutely. And hey, I'll have this, as I said, I'll have this radio show next year. I told you this before. And after every single game, you have a big game, big guy you want to spotlight or whatever on the show. I'd love to have you come on, them come on anytime. You're always welcome. And I'm happy I have this platform where I can talk about how great a program you guys have over there. Because, as I said, I mean, they cover you guys in the paper a lot, but being able to talk to you on the radio, I feel that brings a different feeling to it. And you can have a kid come on and, talk about how great of a season you guys have had, and you come on and talk about it. I feel like that is something that can really get the word out there, since social media, Spotify, podcasts, those are big ways, the radio, to get things out there. So I'd be more than happy to always have you come back on and talk about, your season. And this is a pleasure, is just having you come on and talk about the off season. This is a pleasure, truly.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I also know that you have a strong connection to college sports, and I know you're a big college baseball fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very fortunate to be. I want to give a shout out to the Northeastern baseball program as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
That team is working really hard, and they seem to be coming together right now, and I'm a proud parent of one of the players on the team. I know you've mentioned Corey in the past, and so to see the team now sort of get through the ebbs and flows of the season, and hopefully they're going to have a strong May now. Every game is a high stakes game for this team going forward, and let's hope that they bring it. They
Absolutely.
need to bring it.
This
That's
weekend.
going to be the key to success for them, is to bring their effort and intensity every single game going forward.
Absolutely. And so you've been to every game this year too, which is unreal. As a parent, being able to go to every game, I'm sure Corey loves it. I know I loved when I saw my parents in the stands. It always brought something extra. I always wanted to play stronger since I knew they were there watching. What's it been like to be at every game this year?
Yeah, so it's been a joy. It's the best way for me to say I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to have the time and to get to see the team, and obviously to see my son chase his dream, and to see my son play the sport that he loves. And when there's no place I'd rather be than watching my kid play sports. And so, yeah, it's been an incredible run for the past 5 years to watch them play. But this year I made sure that I put some money aside so that I could travel. I saved up as much as I could so that I could travel and get on the road and watch the team, and be there to support my son, and just love him and show him by my support how much I love him.
Absolutely. And his return to the lineup has been huge for this team. 7-1 in the last 8 games. They needed his bat. Obviously, you went to Hofstra this past weekend. You saw his 4-5 game. What was that like being there?
Yeah. So when I got to Hofstra that Friday morning, they played Friday morning, and because of the weather, really did not know what to expect. Corey really has been battling through a pretty significant injury to his left thumb. He made a nice catch,
highlight reel catch,
4 weeks ago back, and he bent his thumb underneath his hand, and the ligament that attaches your thumb to your wrist basically popped.
Yeah,
and
gruesome.
So it tore, and so it needs to be surgically repaired. And so the doctor had let him know that his season was over, and Corey wouldn't take no for an answer. He rested it, he did rehab, he worked with the trainers at Northeastern, and got a brace, like a half cast, and just worked as hard as he could to get himself back into the lineup. And so when we went down to Hofstra, I really didn't know what to expect. We were hoping that he would square some balls up and just compete at the plate and keep things simple. And as I said, the weather was really bad. I was surprised they played because it was almost a misty rain the entire game. But his first at-bat, he got a hold of a ball and hit a nice home run. And I think that just set the tone for him for the game. And he had a couple of doubles and singles. But, the team really, that particular game, the ball was popping off of the bats of all the guys in the lineup, and so it was nice to see the kids really have a good offensive explosion, and let's hope that sets the tone for the rest of the season, because one thing about Northeastern baseball, those kids, they play hard for Coach Glavin, and they're a blue-collar team. That's why I love watching Northeastern play, just like Everett High School is a blue-collar, football program.
Yep,
And
hustle.
I love to see gritty baseball players. And, so it was great as a parent to experience that.
Absolutely. And so Corey, as you said, was 4 or 5. Costello was 3 or 5 in that game. I feel like Corey's home runs, he hit a home run against NC State earlier in the year. All his home runs are perfectly timed where the team needs a big play, a big hit. Obviously, this home run against Hofstra starting off that game with a home run. Northeastern needed, especially, since we've been struggling the CAA this season. And you also went to the NC State series. You saw his home run down there. What was it like going to that? Because you went to, a big ACC school to see them play.
Yeah, so at that time, NC State was ranked in the top 10 in the country.
Yep.
They were in the College World Series last year, so the atmosphere was electric. They play in front of big crowds it's in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yep.
And so our Northeastern team, they played fearless that weekend. I was so proud as a parent to see how hard the kids at Northeastern played because they actually swept NC State and they did it the way baseball should be played. They did it playing great defense, bunting, stealing, running, timely hitting,
striking guys out.
Every player and every coach and every pitcher contributed in each and every game. And Corey hit a bomb home run in one of the games and was very happy for that, for him to see some success. But I was more happy to see this team play fearless, the underdog. That mentality always helps in sports when you're going into somebody else's backyard and they're the favorite and they're supposed to beat you, and then you go down there and you literally punch them in the mouth, figuratively, I guess, not literally.
Yeah.
And come out of there with a sweep was incredible. It really, I think, really just added again. It solidified how strong the Northeastern baseball program really is.
Definitely. And as I said to you before, I was talking to Mike Sirota's father along with you that first game I met you guys, and I remember saying to both of you that all over Twitter, everyone was talking about Northeastern baseball and the college baseball landscape. And I follow a lot of, college baseball Twitter accounts and everything, and Northeastern baseball was the talk of that weekend with how great they played against NC State. Even game 1, after that, everyone was talking about them. Then they won games 2 and 3. Obviously, the pitching was elite. I think they had 3 earned runs. The starting pitching in all 3 games, just nuts. That whole series just showed how great and how promising this season really was going to be. Obviously, they had some injuries and stuff in the middle, so the record isn't as great as Northeastern wanted it to be. But they should be proud of how great of a season they've had, considering all the tough opponents they've played. UConn twice, NC State 3 times, Clemson 3 times, Penn State once, BC twice. Played a lot of big schools, a lot of big programs, and they're not afraid. And that just speaks to how great of a coach Glavin is, how great the players are, how gritty, how much work they put in. Obviously, Corey, they have a lot of veterans on the team. Costello, Corey, Baudet, a lot of veterans on the team. They can keep things steered in the right direction even when things are down. And that's what you need in every team. Football, basketball, you need veterans.
Yeah, agreed. Baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. And this team got off to such an incredible start, playing back-to-back weekends in NC State and Clemson. And then they hit some adversity. They had some trouble scoring some runs. They had some injuries that plagued them. But right now they're sitting at 9-9 in the conference.
Yep.
With 6 huge conference games remaining.
Yeah,
in the
huge.
next 2 weekends.
Need it.
Which is going to make or break their season.
Yeah.
And if they finish strong these next 2 weekends, they'll be heading into that conference tournament in the end of May down in Elon with a chance to get a bid in the NCAAs just like last year.
Yeah.
But if they don't perform, then it's over in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So for all intents and purposes, they're in the tournament now. And that's like, you love to see. You want to see kids compete. Me as a coach and as a father, I want to see my son compete.
Yeah.
I want to see how he handles this adversity, this challenge. I want to see how he can play through an injury.
Absolutely.
I want to see how tough he is because it's just a sport. It's not real life.
Absolutely.
But these values and these character traits do translate to real life because sooner or later he's going to be faced with some real life issues,
Mm-hmm.
and I want him to handle it with compassion, with integrity, and with effort. And that's what sports does. For all these kids, all the young kids that are playing sports, that's what sports really teaches you. It is a microcosm of real society, but the beauty of it is it's just a win and a loss, and it's just a game. It's not real life. But
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later, the real life does happen, and you want to see kids use the same type of self-control, the same type of values and effort and desire that they use on the football field or athletic fields, baseball, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. You want to see them use those same character traits in the real world, and that's what makes parents and coaches proud, is when you see players doing that.
Absolutely. In this series, this weekend coming in, UNCW, obviously a team that's just above five. I think they're 5 games over 500. Big weekend for Northeastern baseball. Obviously, it's senior weekend too. Potentially the last 3 games. I know Corey still has a year or two left of eligibility. Costello, I think he might even have a year left or not. But this is a big series, and there's no better time for them to hopefully win another 2 games in conference. This is a big weekend coming in. So what are you looking forward to this weekend? Hopefully a big weekend series. This team really needs it.
Sure, I think the weather's supposed to be beautiful.
Yep, 80.
And last year, if I'm not mistaken, Northeastern beat UNCW in the bid for the NCAA tournament.
Yes, you're right.
So this is going to be some really intense college baseball. 2 teams that are going to be well coached, that are going to be prepared. The weather's going to be nice finally. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy watching it, and I'll be cheering for both. I obviously cheer for Northeastern, but I always cheer for both teams. I cheer to see young men in this sport, young women, and when I watch women's college sports. And,
yeah.
But I cheer for them. I cheer for everyone, because the one thing that's common, everybody's chasing their dreams.
That's
it.
it.
I love to see that. It's college sports and high school sports are sports in its purest form, and that's what I love about it.
Absolutely. You just said it perfectly. You always want to root for everyone. Obviously, every kid's playing college baseball. A lot of kids have the dream of going pro and playing in the MLB or getting drafted. So just being able to watch kids, especially Division I, Northeastern, obviously has put guys into the pros now the past few years, guys getting drafted. It truly is an honor being able to go to Northeastern games. You're seeing guys, Mike Sirota was drafted out of high school. You see a lot of guys that have the chance of making it big. And just like you said, the other team as well, you root for a good game, which I like that, Coach. There's no one else that knows sports like you do. So I love that quote that you said that you root for both teams. You're not wrong, though. You do want to see people succeed, and I can tell that. Watching every game and breaking down every game right next to you, we sit right next to each other. It's truly an honor and a pleasure being able to go to every game with you. And hopefully this weekend we get 2 or 3 big wins. I think 2 and 1 would be great on the weekend. If we get all 3, I'd love it even more.
Yeah, it would be great, and we'll see. And so looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to add, Coach?
No, that was it. I just want to say thank you to you for inviting me, and the support that you show for college athletics. I wish you a tremendous amount of success in your future endeavors in this career. I hope that this is something you pursue. It seems to me like you have a true passion for sports entertainment, and I think you're really good at it, Joey. So chase your dreams, buddy, and I hope to see you over the weekend. Okay, pal?
Thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind words. It truly means a lot. Thank you so much for coming on. You're the best.
All right, buddy.
I appreciate it. Have a great night. Thank you. Bye-bye. There you have it right there, Coach Rob DiLoreto, Everett High football. Obviously, we touched a lot on the Everett High football program and how great a program they have over there in Everett. But it was honestly an honor being able to have him come on and talk about Northeastern baseball since he's been at every single game this year. He hasn't missed one game. Really is the biggest sports guru I know. He knows everything about every sport. We could talk baseball. We could talk hockey. We talked about the Frozen Four tournament a little. We talked Northeastern baseball. We talked college football. We talked the NFL, the Patriots. He really knows everything. He knows everything about movies and sports. And I wish I got into Lynyrd Skynyrd because his son's walk-up song is Simple Man by Lynyrd Skynyrd. My dad, big fan of Lynyrd Skynyrd, as is Corey and as is Rob. And that's the thing, though. In being able to go to the games and watch Corey and all the Northeastern players is an honor since I love college baseball. I love Northeastern baseball. But being able to talk to Coach Rob at every game is an even higher honor. And it's nothing short of a dream being able to talk sports with anyone. I love talking sports. It's a dream being able to talk here in the studio and being able to talk to him, a guy that's so successful in sports, has a son that plays college baseball, is the head coach of multiple kids playing Division I football, going on to play Division I football. It's truly an honor having him coming on, and I really look forward to having him come on hopefully in the future. Northeastern has a big weekend series, as I said, against UNCW. Not too sure what we're going to do over the summer. We'll probably still cover some Celtics on this while they're still in the playoffs, so we may upload some episodes, but we'll definitely keep you guys posted. Thank you so much, again, Coach Rob, for coming on. Hopefully you can show all the Everett High football kids this video. Hopefully I'll send it along to Maitre too, and he can hear it and hear you come on since he said you were his dog, which I love. But thank you guys so much for listening in this whole semester. It truly was an honor. I love talking sports, as Rob said. Hopefully I would have a future in this. This would be a dream of mine. But I just want to give a lot of shout-outs. Shout out to all my family, my mom, my dad, my whole family, all my brothers and my sisters. Thank you guys so much for listening in every week. The whole Keith family, the Loftus family. I can go on for days. Auntie Lisa, my Uncle Frankie, Cub, Frankie John, Teresa, Dora, thank you for listening in for every episode. Told you I'd give you a shout out. Mark Walsh, thank you for always coming on. All my boys from home. Joey Hosey came on this year. That was an honor. Christian and JD came in last week to talk about our softball season. Chris Cotillo came on earlier in the year. The sports guru, Mike Hurley, can't forget him. Really being able to have all these people come on and listen to our show every single week. The whole Loftus family, Matt calling in and Timmy giving me the text every week. Both Timmys giving me the text. It really is an honor being able to have this platform and be able to talk sports since I love it so much. I wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen in. I had my boy Steven calling earlier in the year about AIC hockey, and I became the biggest fan of them over the course of the season. So really is great being able to be in the studio. I will miss it. I'm going to do something over the summer, so I'll keep you guys posted. But thank you guys so much again for listening in every week, week in and week out. And hopefully next year we'll be back on again, talking sports as we always do. But thank you guys. Hope you guys stay safe and stay well. Hope you have a great summer until we talk and meet again. And thank you guys, as I said. Really does mean the world to me. So thank you. And lastly, as I've done the last few episodes, the last 4 or 5 now, my thoughts and prayers are with the Ukraine. Hopefully by the time we're back on, whenever I do something during the summer, hopefully things are over then and things are better there. My thoughts and prayers are with them and their families. Special shout out again to Coach Rob. Thank you again, Coach. I'll send you this video. I appreciate it, guys. Have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe and stay well. Thank you. Can't forget my last shout out. Have to open this back up. Shout out to Jet Boston, April at Jet Boston. That was one of my original shout outs, maybe my first one. Shout out to Jet Boston. They do great work. If anybody's in the need of fitness, trying to get in shape, trying to gain muscle, go check them out. They're great at what they do. Truly is an honor, though. Thank you guys again for listening. I really appreciate it. One last quick shout out. The whole O'Malley family, I might have mentioned. I honestly forget if I did or didn't. So I just want to make sure I came back on. Shout out to the whole O'Malley family. Thank you guys so much for listening in. My godfather, Tommy, week in and week out, he's always texting me, just like Maureen and Mickey. Thank you guys so much for listening in. And if anybody needs any personal products such as creams, sprays, hair tonics, shoe deodorizers, Tommy is the guy you should check out on Instagram, Zaddy Earth, Zaddy Earth, Earth. He's great at what he does. He has his own business. Everything's handmade in Brooklyn. He has hand sanitizers, as I said, creams, sprays, hair tonic, moisturizers. He's great at what he does. Please go check him out. He really is the best at what he does, and I truly am proud of everything he's been doing with his own business now over the past year and a half just about. So thank you, Tommy, again for listening in. Thank all of you guys for listening in this whole entire semester. As I said, I thanked all of you guys again, already a ton in the end of this episode, but thank you guys again, as I said at the beginning. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Coming into the studio was an honor. Me and Zach both really enjoyed it. Truly is great having you guys always listen in. We really do appreciate it. Hope you guys have the best summer. Stay safe and well. Looking forward to being back at it again soon. Thank you guys. God bless.